Welcome back. Welcome back to another Beeline to Passports. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host. And tonight we have a good friend and also a former cast of this podcast because he's been in this podcast radio show before. His name is Mr. Jose A. Roldán Jr. Jose,
hey.
Welcome to Beeline to Passports one more time, brother.
Yeah, thanks. I'm taking a picture. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was actually about a little over a year ago last year that I was on. So thank you for having me on. And I know you had to reschedule this because I flubbed up last week and I completely forgot, but that happens sometimes.
But that means that you're busy, and that's what we want to hear and want to know. You know, your projects, what you've been doing, all the areas. Then you want to the audience know about your career. In future projects also. Then you're going to be involved. But tell us. Projects then you have been completed in this last year.
Well, some of the stuff that has come out, I did a JC Films back a little over a year ago. I think it was October, November, called A Wave of Kindness with Kevin Sorbo, and that finally came out this year. And it was actually pretty cool to. I used to like to watch Kevin Sorbo on TV when he was Hercules. He played Hercules, and he teamed up with Xena the Warrior Princess at times. And so to see that scene, people don't realize when you're filming a movie, my little scene or my little line that I had that I was in direct coordination with Kevin Sorbo, it probably took 2 or 3 hours, and for just a 10-second scene. And so he said something, and I said, well, Disney World's the happiest place on earth. And then they went back to him, and it gave me the stink eye. So getting to see that, because that's a feature film and streaming. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where. I believe JC Films Plus, and there may be a few other places that it's streaming. So to see that, it's actually pretty cool. And then there was another film that I did a little over a year ago called Radar: The Adventures of the Bionic Dog. I didn't have a speaking part per se, but we had to chant Radar, and Radar is this dog that's a German Shepherd, and that's supposed to be able to, run and jump like a bionic dog, like the Bionic Man. And I'm in several scenes dressed as a pirate at a festival, and you could see me probably 2 or 3 times when they do cutbacks to certain people in the crowd. So that's actually streaming, and you can rent that like on Vudu and stuff like that. I happen to be a zombie in a short called Zomcom, which is a romantic zombie comedy. And we filmed 4 days in Melbourne, and I was actually one of the zombies. And I was in makeup for about 3.5 days. Then I was a marauder after that. So I had to switch and put like some army gear on, because we're just the marauders and we're just running around. And that was 4 days. And for OIF, it was 9 minutes, but they're making it longer. So it's going to be still a short film, but I think it's going to be 20 or 30 minutes, maybe more. That's how much footage they shot of it. So I'm excited to see that when that comes out. Now, I don't know if you've ever had Dennis Mallon on, but we did another short called Poker Night, which Dylan Swan, and you were actually there with us, Jose, working on that. And, that was actually a pretty intense film. We were there that one day, 17, 18 hours. And that's the last time that basically I worked with Dennis and that you worked with Dennis. So there's just so much stuff that I've done. That's just a few things. And I also, take pictures. So if I don't get a part, generally I'll just get a part taking pictures, which that's fine. I've taken several, I've been on several films and series just as a BTS photographer. Am I the greatest? I don't think so. People say I'm good. I try my best. I don't want to be arrogant and say, yeah, I am the best, because trust me, I met a lady the other day, and she showed me some tips, and it kind of helped out, and I've been using that. So, you know, there's always somebody better. And, but I'm grateful for, you know, everybody giving me a chance. And then right now, me and Dylan Swan, we're kind of working on this new little adventure that we got going. I actually pitched the idea to Dylan. I had this idea for years, but I didn't know when to actually bring it out. And it's called Hillbilly Adventures with Bob and Dippy. And basically we're a bunch of rednecks, and if you're offended, I'm sorry. It's a comedy, so we don't want to offend people, but at the same time, it's a comedy, so you may get offended, but it's not for, you know, we're not being for real, if you know what I'm saying. We're not here to target anybody or any type of race or color or anything like that. And so I kind of pitched the idea to Dylan Swan, and he just started writing. He can write something in literally a few hours, and that's really good. So we actually yesterday we was in Hawthorne, Florida, and we had a cast. So there was let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of us. So all 8 of us that are on this webpage, our Facebook, called Hillbilly Adventures with Bob the Slob and Dippy the Hippie. All of us are all actors, so all of us are actually in there. Plus we kind of, you know, helped out with lighting and all that stuff. So it's really funny. It's going to be a comedy. I know we posted, or Dylan did, and then I just kind of reposted, just like a little simple, small teaser scene, which I'm in it, and Will, which his Facebook is Will, aka Dub, and then Todd, which is the guy that looks like Tommy Chong with a beard. We're all 3 of us are in it, and it's a kind of a clean comedy. I mean, it's kind of slapstick. I think people will enjoy it. It's just, you know, there's so much stuff going on. There's so much hate in the world. You know, once this thing does get kind of released, we're hoping that we get, you know, quite a following. And you know, I'm not going to say how much it actually cost to make this one episode. Well, excuse me, we made 2 episodes, but, you know, between having the place to film, getting the truck, the cast, you know, they got some money too, and between food and all that stuff, it was quite a bit. And you know, so hopefully when things progress, hopefully we can actually get some kind of funding or some kind of help, and that's where we're shooting at. But I definitely think people would like it. And other than that, I mean, I've got, you know, a few other things in the works coming up. I know we're doing a new beginning about a child that lost its mother, and we got to finish filming that. We got another day of that filming. So I've been having fun. You know, and one thing I've always said to people, you don't realize how much time you spend on a film, even a short film. Take, for instance, Zomcom. We shot it for 4 days, and I always count the time that I leave my house to the time I leave the set. I was spending close to 20 hours a day. So 60 hours for 9 minutes.
Wow.
So it's a lot, because, you know, you gotta do the scenes. You gotta set up the lighting.
That's right.
So it takes more. It's basically hurry up and wait. So while they're setting up the scene, the talent's usually resting or, you know, staying out of the sun. And it just takes time to set all that up. And then once it's done, boom, that 2 hours that you set up the scene is done. You got to tear down and do, you know, something else. So that's why it just takes so long. So it's one of those things, if you want to get into the industry, you just got to make sure you're going to dedicate the time. You know, and if you have to give up something, you know, just make sure it's an emergency. I mean, you know, I've had to do it before because of an emergency, because it's like a big family. You know, if you don't show up, and you don't show up, and you don't have any really excuse, but that you just didn't show up, it gets filtered out through the community. Then next thing you know, you're not really getting anything. Yeah. So, you know, just make sure you dedicate time, and sometimes don't get your schedule too full, because, you know, I've had to jump from set to set, and, you know, all within the same day. I don't suggest you do that, because it can wreak havoc, because, you know, you're tired and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of things you got to take into play. And definitely probably one of my worst things about being on set is I eat too much, because I'm idle, you know, if I'm not taking pictures, so I'll munch on something. But other than that, you know, I've been having fun. It's great. I've met a lot of people. definitely, and I've met you, Joe, Jose. We got the same name, and February I think will be 2 years. So we've had a good friendship. We've been in several things together. And I consider you a good friend, and my wife has met you and your wife and everything. So
That's
you guys
right.
are good people, and we're like they say, we're brothers because I'm half Spanish because my dad's Puerto Rican, you're from Puerto Rico, so it's just been cool, and we got many more years ahead of us, and I'm sure we're going to be doing some other projects later on together. I mean, it's just the Central Florida actors, we're kind of a small community, so a lot of times you'll see the same people in different films, and that just happens. And when I
That's right.
first started this, I just like let it go. I started going, and now, like, if you look at my IMDb, I have probably close to 90 credits. That's from acting, from taking pictures, to being a PA. I did produce, where I just help fund a little bit if we need to buy some food and some water. I help with that. It's kind of a producer, or if we need help editing or something. So I try to help out with that as far as funding goes. So there's just it's a lot to do. And I love doing it, but it does get tiresome sometimes. So you just gotta weigh it out. And if you need to take a break, because there's tons of stuff that are always in
Yes.
play.
Yeah.
So if you don't get this one, you can get another one. I talk too much.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and that's the fun part. Is the fun part in this business. Then you start working, in front of the camera, but you start also helping, and then you become a PA, a BTS, helping as a sound or lighting, grapher, to the point that you become a producer. And
Yeah.
sometimes, people in the acting, also directors. And that's the fun part, that is you become a chameleon on this kind of industry, and it's great learn all the areas, because you become a better actor when
Yes.
you know what's going on behind the scenes. And also, when you've been working with several projects, people know your capabilities, and you start doing certain other things. If you don't get a call out for acting, they might call you to do some crew, and
Yes.
at the end you become involved. And sometimes you be on the crew and say, you know what, we need you in front of the camera because we need somebody to do a background, or a fill in, or anything like that. And now you're in front of the camera again. Yes, that's part of the business, and it's true. We've been, we met, the first time that we met was on a class. We took the JC Films a course, acting course, and then since that point we start, talking, and then start working in different projects. Family, met over family members. We started meeting, and we become great friends, and
Sure.
we continue with our friendship, most definitely. Jose, let's take the first commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue learning more about your story, learning more about your career projects, and many other things, other projects, because you also have a podcast, and also you are looking to start a project, kind of a radio show with multiple people. But let's take this first commercial break. And when we come back, we continue learning more about Mr. Jose A. Roldán Jr. here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio.
Woo, all right.
We are back. We are back from commercial break. Great music, and you're listening GKI Radio. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host, and tonight we have a good friend, and this gentleman, he is an actor, producer, and podcaster, and his name is Mr. Jose Roldán. Jose Roldán and myself, we started working in some projects in the recent, last year, but also we met during a course with the organization JC Films. And tonight he's giving us his update on roses. Seven Roses. Right now, you can find Seven Roses on Tubi TV. And that was very fun because when we met, he was doing some BTS, and then they gave him the opportunity to be in the most funny scene, the Seven Roses. And the best part is what he did with something then he used on that the premiere. And that's the fun part. I still have in that probably on the next segment. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna show to the audience. Then is very fun, and also we did another great project. We did a short film, and we're looking to do a feature film very soon. And this is gonna be amazing. We were rebels on that film. Paid the poker nights that he was in BTS. Also, he was in front of the camera, and I was the project manager and production manager for that one. And this most recent one, the Adventures. Again, Adventures.
Hello. You keep going in and out.
The Hillbillies Adventures with Bob and Deep's working, doing some assistant, basically behind the scene. In this one, working. And
you're frozen, man. I can't really see you or hear you.
Filming in this last couple of days. Jose,
Yeah, you keep freezing. I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, I can't respond because I don't know what you're saying. So. Hey, this is Jose. So, yeah, so trying to rebuttal to a little bit of what Jose was talking about. You know, we were in Seven Roses together, which is streaming on Tubi TV. We were also in a short called Hinders, which is going to be a feature film coming up pretty soon. And like we talked about earlier, the Adventures of Bob and Dippy, which me and Dylan Swan are going to be doing. All that's really good. And I tell you, Jose's a really good guy. He's a really good actor. You know, and I really enjoy working with him. And you know, just being in these films, it's like being another person just for a short time. You know, you can be a dead person, or you can be a marauder or a zombie, or, you know, a rebel. And it's actually pretty cool, you know. And like you said, I'm a podcaster, and my podcast is called The Jose Show. And here lately, I've just kind of let it die down a little bit because I'm trying to work on other projects, and I'm going to be bringing it back. It's just Instagram has made it difficult to get a hold of celebrities now because of you can only send them one invite, and if they don't answer, you can never message them again. So I'm trying to figure out a workaround on that. Now I'm getting ready to start and let me bring up the list so I can actually name the people. I'm going to be doing another live show, and I may turn it into a podcast. I don't know. We're going to figure it out because I've been on the Boss Hog Radio Network, and if you look up Boss Hog Radio on the iOS or the Android stores, you could download their music. They play everything but rap. And so I got the idea. I'm on one of their shows called The Damn Shenanigans, which we talk about news topics. So I'm going to try to do something similar to that on my own. And I have 5 people, which includes me, my friend Jay Hammond, which I have worked with for many years, another former co-worker, Michael Fox, and then my friend Victor Hudgens, which I actually met online. He lived in Washington State. He just recently moved down to Florida, so he's going to be on the show. And then Wendy Termal, and she's one of our local business owners. And hopefully sometime next year, we're going to be starting a show where we just talk about news topics. And I don't care about your politics, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or you're not even in a party, you're just independent, that's fine. We're just going to talk about topics that's happening at that time, you know, maybe some funny stuff. And, you know, we're just going to bring it basically for my town here in Zephyr Hills, but it's open to anybody. Anybody can listen to it. You know, I have a lot of followers, and that's basically all over the country. And so I don't care who listens to it. It's going to be fun. We don't have a name yet. We're still coming up with a name. So it's stuff like this. It just takes time because I don't want to do it and then end up messing it up and then have to restart it. I just want to make sure everything is going to be right. And then once that's all together, then we'll start launching it. We may do it maybe twice a month, and it'll just be later in the evening because I know people work. And the reason why I have 5 people, you know, because not everybody's going to be on because maybe they have family commitments or they're sick, and that's fine. And that's why I have 5 people. So at least there'll be at least 2 to 3 of us at any given time. Hopefully all 5, but at least we'll have 2 to 3 people, because trying to do any type of podcast or anything like that and talking just with yourself, it's very hard to keep on talking. So once this happens, I think it's going to be great. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to new things to do, new episodes to put out for that. Today, even in my local town, I was invited as a media to participate in we're having a groundbreaking ceremony where we're going to be building a new park, and we haven't had anything new like that in Zephyr Hills in 40 years. So I was invited to that, and I actually live streamed it, and so it's everything's going just the way that I want it to go. You have a little hiccups here and there, but that's just to be expected. I don't know what the future holds. I'm going to be doing more film projects. I may not do as much as I did in the beginning. Just taking smaller ones.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So cool.
Yes. Yeah. And look what production brought to me.
Oh yeah.
Look what production brought to me. You remember this? Remember that?
Yeah, that was the underwear.
This is what Mr. Roldán was giving away during the 7 Roses. I'm gonna frame this, brother.
Yeah, I need to give you a picture.
I'm gonna frame this. You have your autograph on this one. Basically, signed by Mr. José Roldán for his role in 7 Roses, and he was this was a great time, and that was basically our first movie working together.
It was.
I just need to get a poster.
Yeah, I threw out a lot of those. I think I had about 35 or 40 of those. So
that's gonna be a memory.
Yeah, and just think, if you ever need one, you got one spare to spare. So that's a good thing. Wow. That was a good movie, definitely. 7 Roses. You can watch that on Tubi TV. Yes, I'm actually in 2 scenes in that. I was in the laundromat scene, and yeah. So basically, what he's talking about, I had taken a bunch of Fruit of the Loom underwear, rolled them up, put tape around it, not tape, excuse me, rubber bands, and I actually autographed inside of it. And when we at the end of the film, I got to throw those underwear out, and people caught them, so I know little Robert D'Angelo, my little buddy, he's actually got a pair. He brought it to me the other day when we were on set, and I'm like, wow, that's just funny. You still have these underwear. So, when he becomes an adult, he's probably going to go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've kept these underwear for 40 years, but yeah, it's fun. When you go to these premieres and you see everybody that you were in film, you see their families, and, you get to hear their reactions. And, so it makes you feel good that, you did something that people may enjoy. I've seen it a couple times. It's one of those things, even though I'm in it, I don't know if I would watch it a ton of times. It's sometimes it's just kind of weird to watch yourself in a scene, so I probably will never do any more underwear scene again. That was kind of embarrassing, so, but, I don't know why I had to wear bottoms, because you didn't see it in the film, but nonetheless, it was still fun. And I quickly exited and changed my clothes as soon as the scene was shot. So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I got some other stuff coming up next year. Like I said, I'm just taking my time. I want to try to be, just not choosy, but just, try to get a little bit small roles, because when you get other roles and you're on set for several days, you forget you still have commitments to do here in real life, and this is not my job. I take care of rental property, so it's just a hobby for me. If something happens and I get called up to do a film and make some good money, hey, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. Only time will tell, and we'll just see what happens, going forward. That's all you can do, is just go forward and just wait and see. And You know, I didn't never think I would get this far. And you know, I feel blessed to have met a lot of people, and you know, it's just great. It's a great ride, and I'm enjoying it, and you know, I just love it. You know, this, I don't know what else to say, but you know, if you want to get into it, just remember it's a commitment, and you just gotta just, you know, if you don't get something, there's other stuff coming down the pipeline that you can get. Don't be discouraged. I know I've gotten discouraged before, but you know, sometimes when they're casting for any type of role, a lot of times they see certain people in that role. Maybe you don't have the right hair color, or maybe you're too skinny or you're too big, you know, so they take out that into consideration. You know, it doesn't mean that you'll never be in another film that they do. It's just, you know, it's just they see everybody different, and they see this person for this role and this person, and that's what happens. So it's not that you're being rejected. Just don't take it seriously. I know I did a couple of times, but I kind of understand what's going on, and you know, it just happens. And you know, or you know, and if you don't get a film that's in front of the camera, you know, maybe you can contact him and work behind the camera, being a PA or setting up lighting or whatever. So at least you're still a part of the film. So there's still other ways to actually get in film besides being in front of the camera. And you know, when you're behind the scenes, you know, that director or whatever that does the casting, or you know, they see you, oh, this guy's a good worker. So you know, maybe next time when we have a film, you know, we're going to write maybe a piece for them, and that does happen. So you never know what's going to happen. Just hang in there. When you get your role, just enjoy it. You know, try to remember your lines. And do I get nervous? Yes, I still get nervous in front of the camera. That it's just going to happen. You know, just try to concentrate. You know, if you got some lines and you just don't want anybody to bother you, you know, just politely say, hey, look, I'm trying to study my lines, and I'm just trying to get into character, and just, you know, walk off and just do your thing. I mean, if they get mad, they get mad. But, you know, coming from an actor standpoint, sometimes you just got to stay focused. And if you're sitting there talking and talking, you can't remain focused. Then when it comes time to shoot your scene, you know, generally, if you can get it right the first time, they may shoot a second one for a backup just in case something happened to the first one. And then they may shoot a third one. It just depends. But if I was on set one time and this guy could not get the lines right, and I kid you not, they must have shot that thing 15 to 20 times. And that takes time to do all that, you know, especially if you're outside and you depend on the light. Now, if you're inside, it's still bad, but at least the lighting is controlled. So, you know, try to get your lines down pat, because when you got to sit there and wait and do the same scene and do the same scene and do the same scene, I get to the point that I already memorized everything they're supposed to say. I could actually do it. So, but yeah, so, you know, anybody that wants to do it, just have fun and just keep on trucking. That's all I can tell you, you know. So definitely keep on trucking. Hey.
Definitely, that's an amazing story right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
And also, is and when we come back, we will continue with more of your story, and also your IMDb, your social media, that people can continue follow you and continue this short commercial break. and we'll We are back. We are back from commercial break. Great music. You're listening. I'm the host of Beeline Passports on GKA Radio and also on our YouTube channel. We have a good friend. He is a podcaster, also producer and a actor. He is Mr. Jose A. Roldán Jr. And then he's giving us, continue giving us his story. But very important, he is also providing us some tips that people, they want to be in this industry. Basically, can learn from people already living in this industry. Need to be ready to spend in on set most of the time waiting. You
Yeah, so when he was talking about IMDb. IMDb basically, you get credits for whatever you're doing. Excuse me, that's my dog in the background. And whenever you act, you get a credit. Sometimes in the film, you may get a producer credit if you help produce, act. So whatever you do in the film, generally you get the credit. I've done sound, I've done PA work, which PA basically you assist in helping with the food or maybe moving lights or helping with the director of photography. I mean, I even had to go get ice for a set one time. If they ask you for a cup of coffee and they have crafty, you just go over there and get a cup of coffee and give it. So basically you're kind of on standby. I've done sound. I'm not crazy about sound because I do have a little bit of a hearing problem. So when asked to do sound, I just really don't do it unless I really have to, because I don't want to be the one. You can have a great movie, but then if you have no sound, your movie's no good. Because you want to make sure that they're not clipping, which means when they're speaking or talking, you don't want it to go into the red range, which means it's clipping. It can probably be fixed in post, but it's just a lot easier to avoid stuff like that. If you know how to do the settings right. Now, if I learn how to do sound, then I don't mind having to do it. There's a couple of times that I've been thrown into it, and because I just needed somebody in a pinch like that. Yes, you got to do it. And you got to make sure you hit record, because when you set up, you go sound speeding, and then, the camera's ready, rolling, and then they do the clapper of, whatever, scene one, take one. So, you just got to be prepared and make sure that you hit record, because, if you don't, and when they give all the footage to the editor and that sound is not there, then generally you may have to reshoot that scene at another day. Or if you followed the script, you have to do what they call ADR. Basically, you just record your voice and they sync it up with the movement of your mouth. I haven't had to do that yet, but that does happen, especially if you're someplace where there's a lot of noise. And generally, like when you're outside, you do world tone. It's basically you take like 30 seconds to a minute of the sounds around you, because there's all kinds of sounds, from people talking, airplanes, to cars, vehicles, horns, birds, whatever. And then when you're inside, you do room tone, and it's the same thing. Everybody is just quiet. You don't say a word, and then that way it kind of gives them a level. So when the editor is syncing up the audio and stuff like that, they have that, and it makes it sound good. Like I said, the worst thing is to have crappy audio in a film. Then it's really useless. It's no need to even watch it. You might as well just throw it away. So, you know, there's all aspects. You know, I recommend that you try to learn everything you can. I've helped shoot a few scenes before. Um, Directing, photography, DP, director of photography, that's something I really don't want to do unless I have to. It's just, you know, then again, with my eyes, you know, I got to wear my glasses to see. And then sometimes if I need to see something different, I have to take them off. So it's really not really good for me to do that. So then again, only in a pinch will I do that if they need, you know, an extra camera for a scene, so that way they don't have to reshoot it from a different angle. You know, and then, you know, you got different movies require you to wear different things, and so, you know, that happens too. It just depends on what you're doing and what colors and what you need to wear. So, you know, when you go on set, you got to take tons of stuff with you, tons of clothes, so that way the director or the costume designers, they have something to pick from, because you don't want everybody to come wearing all reds or all blues. You know, you kind of want a mixtures of some reds, blues. You definitely don't want to wear white, because white kind of blows out the camera. You don't want to wear green because that's chroma color. So, you know, a lot of times if they decided to do backgrounds, you would be invisible if they did that. So you don't want to do stuff like that. Generally, they will tell you what to bring, and just have you bring a few extra options, and you know, you change, you know, accordingly to the scene. Or if you're doing something where it takes place like in two different days, well, then obviously you're going to have to change clothes and put a different shirt on, or different pants or skirt or whatever. And that's just part of the process. You know, and then you do makeup. Makeup is just another process. They got some good people out there that do makeup, you know, turn you into a zombie. I had makeup on for a zombie, and literally trying to take that makeup off was atrocious because it was alcohol based, and it really stuck to my skin. And even when I took a shower and scrubbed my face, the next day I still had some of the residuals on there. I mean, it's fine because I had to get back into makeup. So definitely, you know, try to get all that stuff off. And sometimes it may take a day for it to actually get off of your face or two, because even though you scrub, you don't want to scrub too much and irritate your skin. You know, so it's just, there's a lot of aspects to filmmaking, you know, that you just got to deal with, and just roll with the punches. And like I said, just enjoy yourself. You know, I can't stress enough, just enjoy yourself, have fun. And oh, one of the big things too, make sure your cell phone is off or on silent. You know, that's the worst thing. You get a good scene and all of a sudden your phone rings, and then bam, cut. You got to start all over again. You got to redo the scene, and then they look at you like, you know, your phone's supposed to be off. So, you know, just when they're starting to shoot scenes, just zip the lip, be quiet, let them do their stuff, and then, you know, when they usually give you a break or you have lunch, you know, then you can do all the talking. Then, so, you know, just because the longer, the more you screw around, the longer it's going to take. And trust me, you know, when you're on set all day long and you're ready to go home, you don't want to have to keep doing the scene over and over and over again. So that's it in a nutshell.
Definitely that's all these great tips and your experience on set. They basically help, and I think they're gonna be helping people out there in the audience. They want to know more about this industry. They want, sorry, they want to be part of the industry and probably understand better this industry. Jose, definitely. Can you repeat or tell us your social media again and before we finish the show?
Yes, definitely. You can look me up on Instagram. It is the Jose Roldán. That's TheJoseRoldán. If you want to look me up on Facebook, you can use my full name. It's Jose Jose, A for a middle initial, Roldán, Roldan Jr. I have a podcast called The Jose Show, and I'm streaming on all major platforms. You can catch me there. Then I have my page, which is called The Jose Show, just like my name, Zephyr Hills Edition. It's for my city, but anybody can log on because you may see something you like. You may want to move to Zephyr Hills, and so there's that's basically my social medias for now. I may get more eventually. It's just sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. So.
And my friend, and thank you for accepting the invitation and give us all these details about projects that you have been involved, projects that you complete, and your future projects. And we're going to be watching that very close when you launch your podcast and you do any of these other projects. And we want to continue supporting and also be part of that project as any capacity that we can. And we are basically already in Christmas. Yes. Merry Christmas to you, to your family, and next 2024, we will be working in projects together, and we declare that then they're going to happen.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Awesome. People, thank you for being with us in another Beeline to Passport and Learning. And again, this show, 6 seasons on GKI Radio, and also thank you for this great opportunity. Beeline to Passport, always on Tuesdays. You can see our show on YouTube, in our YouTube channel of Silera Miso, the YouTube channel. And remember, be a leader, rock the world, inspires others with your emotions in control. Good night.